A will and a trust are two key legal tools used in estate planning, both serving to manage and distribute assets after death. However, they differ significantly in their structure, purpose, administration, and the time they take effect. Here's an in-depth comparison to help clarify the distinctions. 1. Definition and basic purpose. A will is a legal document that outlines how a person's assets and property should be distributed after death. It can also include instructions for guardianship of minor children and the care of dependents or pets. A will goes into effect only after the person who made it, the testator, dies. A trust, on the other hand, is a legal arrangement where a trustee holds and manages assets for the benefit of designated beneficiaries. A trust can take effect during the grantor's lifetime, living trust, or after their death, testamentary trust. Unlike a will, a trust can begin managing assets immediately if it's a living trust. 2. Probate process. One of the most significant differences between a will and a trust is how they interact with the probate process. A will must go through probate, which is a court-supervised process to validate the will, ensure debts and taxes are paid, and then distribute the remaining assets to the beneficiaries. This process can be time-consuming and public, as court records are generally accessible, meaning the details of the estate may become part of public record. A trust, particularly a living trust, bypasses probate. Assets held in the trust are managed and distributed by the trustee according to the terms set out in the trust document, without court intervention. This can speed up the distribution process and keep matters private, as trusts do not go on public record. 3. Privacy. A will is a public document once it enters probate, meaning anyone can access the information about the estate, including the value of the assets and who inherits what. For individuals who value privacy, this can be a concern. A trust, on the other hand, remains private. Since it doesn't need to go through the court system, details about the assets, their value, and the beneficiaries can be kept confidential. 4. Control during life. A will only takes effect after death. It does not govern what happens to assets during the testator's lifetime. The person retains full control over their property and assets until they pass away. A living trust allows for the management of assets both during life and after death. The grantor can act as the trustee, managing their assets as usual while alive, and then designate a successor trustee to take over in the event of death or incapacity. This offers flexibility and the potential for continuous asset management without court involvement if the grantor becomes incapacitated. 5. Incapacity planning. A will does not provide any protection or guidance if the person becomes incapacitated before death. In cases of incapacity, a separate legal process, such as appointing a guardian or conservator, is typically required. A trust can be structured to plan for incapacity. In the event the grantor becomes unable to manage their affairs, a successor trustee can take over management of the assets without needing to involve the court. This can provide peace of mind and seamless transition of control. 6. Cost and complexity. A will is generally simpler and less expensive to set up compared to a trust. It typically involves drafting the document, which can be done relatively quickly and at a lower cost than creating a trust. A trust can be more complex and costly to establish. Drafting the trust document often involves more detailed planning, and it requires the transfer of assets into the trust. Setting up and maintaining a trust may involve higher legal fees, and there's more administrative work involved to ensure assets are properly titled in the name of the trust. 7. Flexibility and revocability. A will can be changed or revoked at any time up until death, as long as the testator remains mentally competent. A living trust can also be amended or revoked during the grantor's lifetime if it is a revocable trust. However, an irrevocable trust cannot be easily changed once it is established, as it is intended to remove control from the grantor for estate tax purposes or asset protection. In summary, both wills and trusts play vital roles in estate planning, but they serve different purposes. A will is ideal for simple estate plans, while a trust offers more control, privacy, and probate avoidance, especially in cases of incapacity or larger estates. The choice between the two depends on the complexity of the estate, the need for privacy, and the desire for flexibility in asset management during life and after death. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.